Namaskar. Welcome, viewers cum civil servant aspirants. This is our first such attempt, and we, the team of Step Up WBCS, wish to take it further and more further. We have a long way to go by presenting to you a detailed and categorical discussions of previous year's WBCS questions on the basis of not only subjects but rather analyzing the questions on the basis of topics and subtopics. Since the entire team of Step Up WBCS has put a tremendous effort to create such videos, all we ask from your end are some likes, subscription of the channel, and more sharing of the videos. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to discuss about questions that has been asked from the topic of ancient India in previous WBCS preliminary examination. You'll be able to note down the year in which the question was asked, and I'll try to share some additional information related to the question and the answers too. The first question is, the famed mathematician of ancient India was. The question was asked in the year 2000, and there are four options to the question. First is Kalhana, Aryabhatta, Rudrasena, and Abul Fazal. And the answer, I think, is known to all, and it is none other than the famous mathematician Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta belonged to Gupta era. He was born in 476 AD in Pataliputra and died in 550 AD. He was a famous mathematician and astronomer of his age. The second question is, Ankorvat was built by. There are four options to the question. First is Chandragupta II, second option is Aryabhatta, third option is Suryavarmana, and the fourth option is Kanishka. And the answer to the question is Suryavarmana. Now, Ankorvat is located in northwest Cambodia, is the largest religious structure in terms of temple complex in the world by land area. The temple was built by King Suryavarmana in the early 12th century. The third question is, CUK was authored by. There are four options to the question. First is Yuan Sang, second is Fahian, third is Megasthenes, and the fourth is Ising. The answer is Yuan Sang. Now, CUK was authored by Chinese pilgrim, monk, and scholar Yuan Sang. He resided in India for 17 years in search of Buddhist texts. He visited Kannauj during the period of Harshavardhana. All his experiences were depicted in his book CUK, which means History of the Western World. The fourth question is, Allhabad Pillar inscription was penned by. There are four options to the question. First is Harisena, second is Ravikirti, third is Ridradamana, and fourth is Banabhatta. And the answer is Harisena. Now, Allhabad Pillar inscription is also known as Prayag Prashasti, which was composed in 4th century AD in the era of Chandragupta by his poet and minister Harisena. The fifth question is, Indica was written by. There are four options to the question. First is Gondopharnes, second is Megasthenes, third is Vincent Smith, and the fourth is William. And the answer, obviously known to all, is none other than Megasthenes. Now, Megasthenes was a Greek diplomat, historian, and ethnographer whose extensive writings about the culture of India gave an insight into the lives of ancient Indians during the rule of Chandragupta Maurya. The sixth question is, Sabha and Samiti are two democratic institutions of. There are four options to the question: Rig Vedic Aryan, Dravidians, hilly tribes of India, and Indus Valley people. The answer to the question is Rig Vedic Aryans. Now, Sabha denotes both the assembly in early Rig Vedic era and the assembly hall in later Rig Vedic period, whereas Shomiti was a folk assembly in which people of the tribe gathered for transacting tribal businesses. The seventh question is, Chalukyas established their empire in. There are four options to the question. First is Gujarat, second is Malwa, third is Deccan, and the fourth is far south India. The answer to the question is Deccan. Now, the Chalukyas ruled parts of South India and Central India between 6th century and 12th century AD. There are three distinct sects of Chalukyas. First is Badami Chalukyas, second is Eastern Chalukyas, and the third is Western Chalukyas. The Chalukya dynasty reached its peak during the reign of Pulakesi II. The eighth question is, which of the following god does not belong to the Rig Vedic period? The options are, first is Indra, second is Marut, third is Shiva, and the fourth is Aditi. The answer to the question is Shiva. Now, Rig Vedic Aryans worshipped the forces of nature, but at the same time believed in the basic unity of nature. They worshipped many gods, not in fear of nature, but to gain nature's favor. Some of the names of their gods are Indra and Marut, Aditi, Sun, Savitri, Agni, Vayu, Rudra, Soma, and Brihaspati. The ninth question is, the most important source of information for the municipal administration of the city of Pataliputra in the Mauryan Empire is. There are four options to the question. First is Indra, second is Arthashastra, third is Mudrarakshasa, and the fourth is Ashokan Inscription. The answer to the question is Arthashastra. Now, Arthashastra was transcribed in around 4th century BC by the Prime Minister of the Great Mauryan Empire, Kautilya, who was also called Chanakya or Vishnugupta. The Arthashastra is a primeval Indian discourse on statecraft, economic policy, and military strategy, and it was written in Sanskrit. The 10th question is, whose contemporary was famous grammarian Patanjali? The options are Ognimitra Shungo, Pushyamitra Shungo, Vasudev Kanna, and Gautamiputra Shatakarni. The answer to the question is Pushyamitra Shungo. Now, in the grammatical tradition, Patanjali is believed to have lived in the 2nd century BC. He wrote a Mahabhashya on Panini Sutra in a form that quoted the commentary on Katyayana's Vartikas.